Let's begin by thinking about how the Lord Jesus felt as we look at a particular incident on a particular day in his life here on earth. I'm only reading one verse to you right now, just to set the scene. It's Mark chapter 7, verse 24. Jesus left that place and went to the vicinity of Tyre. He entered a house and did not want anyone to know it, yet he could not keep his presence secret. In fact, as soon as she heard about him, a woman came and fell at his feet. Before I remind you of the details of this story and the reasons for the woman's persistence in asking Jesus for his help, I'd like us to think of ourselves, perhaps having felt much like the Lord Jesus was feeling in this story. Was he tired? Did he just need to be away from people who were trying to catch him out? I'm sure we've all been there at times. Glad to be home, closing the door, hoping the doorbell doesn't ring, nor the mobile, nor the landline, nor an email popping in, nor the ping of a WhatsApp message, nor a text, nor a work phone, and I could go on. There's still Facebook and other ways that some of you also get messages. But someone did find the Lord Jesus. Perhaps more, but certainly one desperate woman found him. And for me, the lovely thing is that Jesus shows no sign of being too tired to give her his full attention. The story is recorded twice, once in Matthew's Gospel and also in Mark's. Let's read Matthew's account in chapter 15, verses 21 to 28. Leaving that place, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Canaanite woman from that vicinity came to him, crying out, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is suffering terribly from demon possession." Jesus did not answer a word. So his disciples came to him and urged him, "Send her away, for she keeps crying out after us." He answered, "I was only sent to the lost sheep of Israel." The woman came and knelt before him. "Lord, help me," she said. He replied, "It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to their dogs." "Yes, Lord," she said, "but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table." Then Jesus answered, "Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted." And her daughter was healed from that very hour. This woman knew her inability to help her little daughter and child, as Mark calls her, but she seemed to know that Jesus was well able to help. Did you notice that she called him Lord and Son of David? She also asks for mercy. She brings her daughter's needs to the only one who can help. And she gets straight to the point. For her daughter is suffering terribly from demon possession. Did you notice that Jesus did not at first answer a word? Let's learn lessons from this. Was Jesus testing the reality of her faith? But his disciples were quick to speak. She seems oblivious to the disciples who would rather Jesus would send her away. Surely they believed that Jesus could help, or were they just ready for a break, as we would call it? We do have to understand that this woman was not a Jew. She was a Greek, so consequently a Gentile. She was a Canaanite who would not have had all the Jewish privileges, and Jesus reminds her of this. First of all, his mission was to the lost sheep of Israel. The woman was not put off by this. She fell at his feet. Her words are short and desperate. Lord, help me. Have we ever reached that point in our prayers? Jesus is distinguishing between Jews and Gentiles. To the Jews first. More information can be found about this in Romans chapter 11, particularly verse 11. Jesus is not making a harsh point here. The word dog that he mentions here is in the original language a pet dog. He was now drawing out of her a growing response of her faith and understanding. Yes, Lord, she says. So she does understand that it's for the Jews first, but believed that something could be done for her daughter, even though they were only dogs, pet dogs. And Jesus commended her great faith. What a thrill for this dear woman and her daughter that the miracle of healing took place at that very moment. Mark says she went home. Can you imagine it? Did she run? Did she tell others her good news on the way? Was she praising the Lord as she went? Did she want to see for herself? The daughter was there, but the demon had gone. She was healed. Let me finish with a few points for you to think about. The favoured Jews seemed to place obstacles in front of Jesus and cast doubt on his authority, while this dear woman's faith didn't even see any obstacles. Like this woman, do we expect great things from God, or are we doubters of his ability? Once again, let us learn from Jesus' example of dealing with people, since at first it almost seemed as if he was against her, but the seeming obstacles only made her more persistent. I can only imagine her telling her story of meeting Jesus and the miraculous change he had brought about in her life, in her little daughter's life, and in the family and home situation. As we finish, can you think of some of today's hymns she might have sung if she'd known them as she hurried along the road?